Welcome back again to the Dora Show, and we are back again with another guest on our show, and we are humbled to have him on our show. And so, just in a bit, I'll give him a minute to introduce himself, and thereafter, of course, share with us his story. And before I give him an opportunity to share with us and to introduce himself, I want to thank my subscribers and especially my returning subscribers who come back to view our videos. I want to thank you so much, and of course even the new people who come and view our videos. Thank you so much, and plead with us to, of course, subscribe. Click that subscribe button, click, and of course like our videos so that at least you can support our work. Like our videos, share, comment. Yeah, we shall really appreciate. We don't take anything for granted. I truly appreciate your help. Okay. Yeah. So on our show today we have we've never hosted any male gender on our show, but today we are blessed to have one, and we can't we can't wait to hear from him. So welcome, brother. Who are you?
Thank you so much. I'm Brother Stephen Omondi.
Brother Stephen Omondi, you are the Gen Zs, eh?
Yeah,
welcome. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm happy to be here at this show to share my experience or my life story.
Wow, welcome. You're welcome. Feel at home. And this is a free space, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, feel at home.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what do you have for us?
I have a lot of inspiring life story.
Yes.
That I believe if someone out there may watch, it will inspire them.
Yes.
That this life has a hope. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's the message that I'll give to those who will be watching before even we begin. That by my life experience,
yes,
some may be touched. Those who perhaps are in darkness, perhaps which I had been, as I will narrate my life story. So I believe so.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So yeah, you're free to begin sharing with us your life story.
Yeah, I just want to begin by my childhood experience.
Yes.
I was born in a humble family background. With a blind mother.
Yes.
Yeah, I was born when my mom was already blind. She became blind in around a teenager.
Yes.
And so majorly my story will be around that, because when I was born, this has been ringing in my mind that I was born for the purpose of serving my mom.
Amen.
Yeah, so
you are the firstborn?
Yeah, I'm the firstborn in our home. And this was echoed a number of times. It is still echoed even today that the reason why I was born was to be the eye of my mom. That's how they put it in our local language.
Yes.
Yeah, that you are the eye of my mom. And so that has been in my mind since then. Yeah, so being the firstborn to a blind mother wasn't that easy.
Yes.
And I think the environment wasn't also not conducive to appreciate. So my early childhood was full of sorrows and a lot of discouragement.
Yes.
Number one, and a lot of mockery at the same time, because I am born out of marriage. I was born out of marriage. That is one of the saddening things. So in the village, you know how it will be. And another thing which was so disappointing on my side.
So you were born before your mom was married, right?
Yeah, I was born before my mom got married.
Okay.
And I was born, and of course, I have talked to my mom. I have talked to my grandmother who used to stay with my mom at that point. She was still schooling. I was born when she was in college, and so my grandmother did told me that they pressurized my mother that now she needs someone to help her because of her condition, and so they deliberately as a family allowed her to get a child. Yeah, so she was allowed to get a child to help her, because
so it wasn't her choice.
Yeah, it wasn't her choice. As I have been told by my aunts, my grandmother, because I was asking where is my dad, because now the children around will question me, where is your dad, and yeah, and the mockery around the village. So I was also questioning a lot, and they told me, no, you are born purposely to
be the eye of your mother.
Be the eye of your mother, and your mother was not yet ready for marriage.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was back then when I was very young. So I accepted. I used to question when I was still even young, but I came to accept, and that's how the journey of my life began, when I was just helping my mom in her errands. Yeah, she would go to school, come back, I walk with her around, and I think that has been part of my early life. Now the other part of my life experience is now becoming a teenager and school life.
So maybe just before you go to the school life, maybe just for our viewers, if I think earlier on, if you would go back to my earlier videos, there's a video that I did with a blind lady, and that blind lady is her mother. I mean, his mother, right?
Yeah, sure.
That's his mother. We did two portions, or rather two parts of that videos. Unfortunately, the second part, there was a problem with our microphones, and so we couldn't upload the video. And so if you could get back to that video and get to learn about that blind lady. Now this is her firstborn, and is trying to tell us is part of the story. Okay? Yes. So maybe just a question to Stephen. Now, how was your childhood? Maybe when you were born, your mother was blind, right? Was she the one who was taking care of you, now that it's the society that pushed her, to become pregnant of you? Was it her who was taking care of you, or the society took part in taking care of you? Maybe what were you told? Because I know you couldn't know, right?
Of course,
yes.
I was taken care of by my grandmother. She was responsible 100%.
The mother to your mom?
The grandmother to my mom. Yeah, so...
How about your mother's mom?
My mother's mom, she died when my mom was in Form 2.
Wow.
Yeah, she was still young, before even I was born. Yeah.
Yes.
So she died long ago, and so my mom was staying with the grandmother, the mother to her mom. Because I grew up with her as a grandmother, I also call her grandmother. Yeah, but that is not the case. So
she's your great grandmother.
Great grandmother. Wow. Yeah. So she took good care of me when I was a child, as his child, and she kept encouraging me to understand the reason of my existence, and that was to take care of mom. Yeah, so mom was fully in a school, but I was taken care of by my great grandmother. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Until she cleared school.
Yeah, she cleared school. She came back, and when she's coming back, then now I'm ready to go to school.
Yeah, you were old enough to go to school.
Old enough to go to school. Wow. She wasn't unable to do what she was learning in school. She learned some art of sewing, but up to today, I believe maybe more than 20 years, she's never received a machine to help her do what she learned all that through time. Yeah, so she came and we stayed, both of us, at her grandmother's place, and now it was time for me to move to school. Yeah.
So like whatever she learned in school, she's never practiced.
She's never practiced it.
But has she been willing to practice that?
Yeah, early before she was very willing. Yes. She had passion. I mean, she would do some clothes for us as children by hand, as far as she could not find the machine. But yeah, a number of sweaters, muffins, and socks she would do for us. I mean, she learned a lot of things in our school. I appreciate the school because she learned how to cook, how to do her daily chores, and so she's never a burden. Yeah, so that's
you know, you people. I was shocked. You know, his mother cooks. She's blind, but she cooks food. She washes clothes. You know, and she knows how to go about her house and house chores.
Yeah.
Her house is very clean. Her clothes very neat, and you're like, oh my word.
Yeah. So yes. Then she comes back, and we hope that she would get a job.
Yes.
Of course, she had a lot of opportunities of scholarship, but they were hijacked by some family members, some friends who covered themselves with her.
Yes.
To use her as a means of enriching themselves. Some I know. I used her to, she was supposed to get those things, grab them to themselves, and so she, because no one was there for her, so she wasn't unable to do anything. Yeah, so now the only hope, again, the reason why now I'm coming to my school life is that the only hope now for her was me schooling. And everyone's attention was to me to be able to school and finish school and help her, because now she's done and she's again a burden there because she has nothing to do. And so I was taken to school, and I was at first very bright, my early primary school, and my focus was always on getting higher and higher to be able to achieve helping my mother, because my great grandmother has been putting into my mind that my first duty is to take care of my mom. And so that's happened that way. I began schooling, and in the middle of my primary level, things turned again, because now the pressure was on my mom. She was there, perhaps she seemed to be a burden, and she entered into marriage life. So marriage life also turned.
Now the society again placed pressure upon her to get married.
Yeah, to get married. Yes. Perhaps they had a feeling that she's a burden, and maybe she's passing her years. Yeah, so maybe, so she was brought someone to marry her. Yeah, just as they did with me to get a child, and so she was brought someone to marry her, and she was married, and now I am continuing with my schooling in now a marriage life. But the marriage life, as she had shared before, was not a conducive environment, especially for me, who was not born in that marriage, and so it was very difficult. That's also another saddening moment. It was a dark ages of my life experience, being in such a marriage. Her herself, she suffered in that marriage, and so you can tell if herself she was suffering. I was suffering the more, because I truly loved my mom, and I would not want to see her suffer. And so when she was passing through this suffering, marriage life was just a place of torture.
It was hell.
It was hell. I really felt that was my end. I lost hope in life at that moment. A couple of things happened during that time. Some I'll mention here. Some I may not recall and mention. Yeah, some of the things in that marriage life, because it was chaotic,
yes,
I almost even lost my life, committed suicide a number of times. God just saved me from doing that. Yeah, that was between my teen. I was still a teen already, teenager. Although class 3, 4, 5, I was still a teen. Yeah, so what was just on my mind was committing suicide. And I was saved by God. There's a time I remember I almost became a street boy, because my mom was hit the whole night, and when the day breaks.
By your stepfather now?
No, by my, let me call her stepfather. I decided to disappear from home because the scene wasn't just okay for me. Sometimes we'll be beaten together. My mom is beaten for no good reasons. Yeah, so together with us. And so I really felt uncomfortable until I left home a number of times to go die. There's a time I was almost becoming a street boy in Kisii town, when I stole money, boarded a vehicle to Kisii, and then my fare ended there. I was just there, and God saved me through another man who was just a hawker of biscuits and sweets. Just realized that this child might be having a problem, and took me to his place. And that's how I was saved. And
maybe just before you continue, I just wish to ask you now, I don't know, did you ever come to ask about your dad now? Did you ask your grandma about your dad? Or has he ever come to the picture, maybe to,
no.
I would wish to see my son?
Not really. I have questioned though, but I have never known someone. I have never seen or known, but I
and they've never even explained to you that it's so and so.
Yeah, I have never been done that. Yeah, but my mom has also kept it secret.
Yes.
But she told me that whatever she told me was in line with what my grandmother was telling me and my aunts are telling me.
Yes.
Yeah, that they're the ones who brought a man for her, so that she can have a child to take care of him, of her. Sorry. Yeah, so
okay.
Yeah, but I have asked to know my dad. He's never come to the picture. I've never known him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, continue.
Yeah, so I was saved, and it was not only that. A number of times I went off from home because of those frustrations. I have even difficulties that I've experienced in my life, even today, because of those hectic and just the conditions, the beatings, and I have my back problem. I think you know about it. I have my hand problem. All those was the effect of those days. And so my mom has a lot of it, and also my younger brother. There's another brother of mine who was also born out of this marriage. Yeah, so the two of us.
So you were two out of marriage?
Yeah, we were two out of marriage.
Wow. With the same person or different?
My mom told me it is the same person, and he was promising to marry my mom at the end of college life, but immediately my mom finished college, he disappeared.
Was nowhere in the picture.
Yeah, he disappeared. Yeah, so that's how it was. So my brother also suffered this. I suffered, my mom was suffering, and I decided to quit myself from that experience completely.
Yes.
To an extent of desiring death.
Yes.
Or rather attempting death for just to do away with that life experience. And so when things got to us, the people around acknowledge, and they realize that even in my school they acknowledged there was things were not just good, and now that's when I began staying with people. Yeah, so
now at this time that you were taking your bus, or rather to Kisii, how old were you?
I can't really recall, but
which class were you?
I was in class 3.
Wow. Wow.
Remember being brought, I was very sharp, by the way, because the environment, you see, you are born to be responsible. So at that age I was already very mature. Sharp, very mature. Yeah, I knew a lot of stuff. Wow. Yeah. So that I think that was, I was still young in age but very mature in my mind.
Yes.
Yeah, so I began staying with people. The principal was also sponsoring me that time. I was in a private school. I've been sponsored by a principal when I was still staying with my mom in this marriage life. He tried to solve the family issues. It was impossible, and then he decided that to stay with me. Before term ends, he died. I really loved the guy. He died before we connected that much.
Yes.
And the head teacher of the school took me to stay with me. I think he's the longest person I've stayed with for long. I stayed with him from class 3 to around class 6. About 4 years or so.
Now fast forward. Now from Kisii, now how did this man bring you back home? Whoever picked you on the streets of Kisii?
Okay, I told you already that I was very mature.
Yes.
I had some of my aunt's numbers, contacts. And by the way, I was going, not that I was just going to Kisii. I was coming here in Kilgoris to see my aunt. And I told the guy about the situation at home and the reason why I was hiding. I don't have money to reach where I was going. And so the guy paid for me the transport to Kilgoris, and I came here in Kilgoris.
At class 3.
At class 3, yeah, and I convinced my aunt. It was a long holiday, or December holiday, and so I convinced my aunt until she blocked any other person from home, and she stayed with me for the entire holiday. I was searched everywhere. Even on radio, they do announcement, and everywhere. Until now, my aunt decided to take me to school, but immediately
in Kilgoris.
But she decides to tell mom. Mom was already stressed, close to death. By the way, she was almost dying because of the stress. So when she tells her, she breaks the news that she has been
found.
He's been in Kilgoris, and they came for me before I went to school.
Yes.
Yeah, so they came for me. They thought I was on the wrong side. My uncle was in, because they were frustrated. I've been lost, and for more than 1 month they have been searching. They've used money. Yeah, so they brought me. I was taken again, and I was referred again to go stay with a man again, my family. It wasn't I thought that
now you are no longer staying with your mom.
No, I went still after this disappearance. I went still, and I was asked to go still and stay with them, with my stepfather. So the situations got worse. As I thought, maybe now, because I have expressed myself, and being a child, I didn't know the best way also to express myself.
Yes.
To say that whatever is happening here, the environment is not right.
Yes.
That's why I don't feel comfortable. And my mom is also someone who suffers herself. So even the extended family, the grandmother didn't know what is going on, and so they were thinking that perhaps I'm the one who maybe.
You're just being stubborn.
I'm just being stubborn, but my mom just they say they covered everything. Yeah, because I mean she was faithful in church, so she knew maybe there's no need of separation in marriage and such. So she just covered everything, but she was really suffering.
Yes.
And she would cry sometimes the whole night. Yeah, so a lot of things. So when I went, the situation wasn't good again. I got lost a number of times. I just went away from home a number of times.
Yes.
There's a time I went to Kisumu. There's a time I went to Homa Bay. There's a time I went to a number of places.
You would just go alone.
Yeah, I would just maybe steal money and just go to wherever I had known that there's a relative. Yeah,
yes.
I would go and tell them that I don't want to stay at home.
And then what would be their response?
Now they'd known the issue that I am someone who just gets off from home. So some will retain me for some days and then they get me back home. So the person who now comes to understand me is the principal of the school and says that if he says that he doesn't want to stay home, he talks to me and questions why. I explains and he understands and requests my father and my mother if I
let you stay with him.
Yeah. So staying with him was a blessing. I was losing even focus in my studies. Sure. I was bright, but now
it's very possible if you keep on running from home. It's to and fro all the time.
Yeah, and even
you get
stress.
Affected. Yeah,
even stress. I mean, seeing my mom beaten was
and I know many children go through the same.
Yeah, it was.
Many children go through. Yes. It's torture.
Sure.
It's
it was
torture.
Mind torture. And so...
And emotionally as well, you're affected.
I would cry all the day.
It's trauma. You get traumatized.
Yeah. So I thank God he understood. And I stayed with them. Unfortunately, he died before even a term ends.
Yes.
And someone else was in for me, and that is the headmaster, because they loved me. I was obedient child from my childhood. My disobedience was seen in that I was I never loved, like, the people who would sit down and reason with me would understand my disobedience at home and wanting not just to stay at home because of that environment.
Yes.
But people who now stays with me, like the head teacher, for all that years we stayed perfectly in harmony, because he loved me more so than even his children and his grandchildren, whom we were of the same age, because I was obedient, very responsible, and I would listen to what they say and not want to do. So I get to class 6 and something happens again, that now the marriage life became more chaotic, and they had to separate now when I was not staying with them. Now these people, the extended family, is when they're realizing that things were not good, because my mom had just covered things. And so they break, and my mom gets to go back to her grandmother's place, and the grandmother is already dead.
Yes.
So she was given that place by the uncles to stay in her house, and she came and requested where I was staying, if I could stay with her, and if I could stay with her and help her, because now they'd separated. And my other brother, by the way, I'll not say this, that is the same period he is affected by what we are struggling today. He's mentally challenged. He's having mental problem. He's never been diagnosed, but he has a mental problem, which was also as a result of this problem, the chaotic, the marriage life. I think you know, I went, but he was left there helpless, and
and he was younger.
So I think frustration led him to this maybe I don't know whether it's depression, which later led to him having mental problem.
Yes.
So
when he was young, he was just okay.
Yeah, he was very bright than me. He was sharp, even in school, and he was good. Yeah, so I am coming back, and the marriage life is different. They're separated. My brother is now having a problem, and I stay with them. And my uncle, seeing this situation, texts me, because he knew that I was very bright back in my childhood, and he comes to revive this. He comes to revive this. He wanted to revive this because their only hope was me finishing school and helping mom, seeing how things have really went with her. And so I went staying with him. And so I stayed with him in class 7 and class 8, my 8th grade. The goodness, his place was closer to where mom was staying. So
you would occasionally check on mom.
I would occasionally check on mom. And I realized I still loved mom and wanted to be of help.
Yes.
Yeah, but a bitter life experience that I had that I'll never forget, and will make me be focused in really helping my mom at whatever cost. This time that I came back to stay with my mom, life was so difficult that I remember it's a sad incident I've never seen in my life. We would go literally to the market and just go beg, just to get our daily food. That was the worst experience.
Which class were you then?
I was in class 6. I was in class
Oh, so that's the period when you went to stay with your mom?
Yeah, when they are now
separated
with my dad. Yeah, so I came and mom was really, they will sleep hungry and there's no food until it reaches a point that we would just go to the market. We would ask for people's favor, and that's how we survived during that time. It was the holiday which I was transiting to class 7. Yeah.